Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com, your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing details. Today, we're discussing a watch launched just after the Bulgari acquisition of Daniel Roth and Gerald Genta in the early 2000s. This is the Daniel Roth Reference 208 Datomax, featuring the classic ellipso curvex case and a lovely guilloche dial with a Girard-Perregaux movement base and a flush sapphire disc double date. This is a very special timepiece. Taking a quick look, you can see that it's reasonably sized, 35 millimeters across. It's 41 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip. It is 9.8 millimeters thick, and it's got a nice standard 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Of course, the watch is easy to wear on a small wrist. You can see that it comes nowhere near the edge of my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, and from over the top, you can see the lugs are well inboard of the edge of my wrist. It's also thin enough to fit underneath the cuff because it is, after all, a rose gold dress watch. The strap is surprisingly substantial. Now, you can see it uses a curved spring bar so that there's no impediment to the motion of the strap against the flank of the case. You can also see that this is a large rectangular scale alligator leather in a matte finish with a monotone stitch, a lot of bolstering and stuffing to give it volume, and then thick layers of leather visible in the sheer cut of the side. It's calfskin on the bottom. It is a Daniel Roth factory strap. We have no gouging or crimping. The watch comes with its original and correct rose gold pin buckle. And then we have the Ellipso Curvex case, whose standout feature is this beautiful quartet of welded-on lugs. So the case and the lugs were built separately. The lugs were inserted, welded on, and then all of the gathered material from the weld was removed by hand to create these sharp breaks. It's a beautiful artisanal technique that's rarely seen in the modern era of mass production of watches, and it's just not something that is compatible with large-scale series production. So this is a watch that's really quite beautiful, intricately detailed in and out, as we have this lovely guilloche on the dial. You can see that there's a sort of dental molding outboard. Then we have a track that is just outboard of the hours. We have a curtain style or tapestry style center dial, and then there's a vogue or wave pattern on the small seconds. The watch includes blued hands, fired blued steel, and then a rose gold frame for the date. I called it flush, but truth be told, it's more of an optical illusion, as you have one date that sits on a sapphire disc, and then below it there's a secondary disc. So two dates superimposed, but because one is made of sapphire, they do look as though they are flush. The watch has a quick set, and as you can see, it also has hacking seconds. And that's because on the reverse side, as Daniel Roth often did, the movement is from one of the high horology manufacturers of Switzerland, Girard-Perregaux. You have a custom rotor that is cut on a rose lathe with a lovely billowing rayon pattern. So this is guilloche right here. The rotor is quadruply finished. Then we have a Girard-Perregaux Series 3100 automatic. You can see the DR stamp on it, so it's been branded Daniel Roth, but we know where this came from. It's a unidirectional automatic winder with a 46-hour power reserve. It's got the hacking seconds, the quick set double date. It pivots on 32 joules, and it beats away at 8 beats per second, so it has a modern high beat rate. It is a thin, fine, high horology movement that's often mentioned alongside counterparts like the JLC 889 and the Zenith Elite from the same period. If you love this wonderful throwback to a handsome and kinder and gentler era of independent watchmaking, back when small watches from tiny brands were the rule, back when watchmakers weren't internationally known glitterati. This was from the dying era of the Daniel Roth brand before it was subsumed into Bulgari, when a lot of the old standards of finishing and design still held sway. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.